Right, let's bring in electricity market analyst Lanre Elatuyi. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight tonight. Well, you are a market analyst and you would have a good grasp of goings on in Nigeria's power sector. First, what's your analysis of Nigeria's power sector as of today? And especially when you look at the electricity value chain from the DISCOs, the GENCOs, the TCN, and what have you.
We're actually at a critical moment in the Nigerian power sector. And of recent, there have been incessant grid collapse. So I'm not going to be apportioning blames because the body responsible for system reliability hasn't really come out with the actual cause of grid collapse. So what we've been having is just probably generic response from them and textbook causes of grid collapse, but the actual cause of grid collapse has never been made available for public to really see. So I'm not going to be apportioning blame.
Well, we're getting all kinds of, reasons.
That will be kind
vandalization. Vandalization. You know, some would say the GENCOs are not, or the DISCOs are not taking what the GENCOs are, generating. All kinds of reasons. Yeah.
So next is like I said, at a critical moment. Yeah. So the market is about to transform, but for over the years, we've stuck in what is referred to as transitional electricity market, where MBET still remains as the central buyer. So illiquidity is still the bulk electricity trader.
Yeah.
So illiquidity is still a problem. The GENCOs are complaining that they issue an invoice on a monthly basis, but just barely 10% of their invoices are paid by the DISCOs. So the DISCOs too is facing energy theft, their collection loss, aggregate technical and commercial and collection loss is about 40%. So it's a whole lot of problem. There's a problem with TCN too, but it's a system thing. I'm not going to say this party is at fault or GENCO is at fault or transmission at fault, but the whole power sector is in a critical state, and unless something is done timely, we may wake up one day and we may not have any plants to run. So as per generators, they are facing acute resource adequacy problem. If you look at availability factor in the last NEC report, it's actually barely 40%. So most plants are done mechanically and feedstock wise, in the sense that there's no gas availability. So because of a certain grid collapse, a lot of feedbacks happening on the GENCO side, and most of the machines are actually done. Most of the turbines are done right now. So that's the problem we're facing in this sector.
That's quite, it's a multi-dimensional crisis in Nigeria's power sector. Well, the National Economic Council has set up this committee, to look at different aspects of the electricity sector, including to advance the national electrification strategy. That is to say that Nigeria right now, as we speak, or NEC, has an electrification strategy. From your point of view, do you think we really do have a strategy that can move things from, where we are to where we hope to be?
Well, Electricity Act 2023 is actually in operation. So I don't believe in another committee being set up, especially by the politicians. Power sector should be handled by the experts and not to be led by the politicians. So I wouldn't know what the time of reference for the committee is going to be, but the Electricity Act has actually granted states autonomy in the administration of the
Let me just quickly read out what the terms of reference are. The Vice President who presided emphasized the need to have access to energy. Well, he's saying is a fundamental right for Nigerians. There's a vital, it's vital for economic growth and what have you. And he stressed the importance of private sector involvement, particularly in renewable energy and so on and so forth, to increase electricity access, across Nigeria. It looks good on paper, doesn't it? But in reality, how can we realize electrification across Nigeria?
like I said, we've had so many programs.
Yeah.
And
No,
so
forget the programs. I mean, the way forward.
The way forward,
Yes.
I will still go by what the Electricity Act 2023 says.
What are the key points?
The key point in there is that there's going to be a transition to the OC competitive electricity market, whereby GenCos and DISCOs are going to contract bilaterally. So at that point, all these problems we have in this central buyer model can actually be overcome. Then another reason is that now that states have been granted autonomy, maybe states will do it better. But over the years, we've complained that, okay, we've not been able to get it right on the federal level. So let's see what states can actually come up with. But before the states actually had the autonomy to provide electricity in the areas not covered by the grid. What the Electricity Act just did is just to give them that power to still regulate on power generation, transmission, and distribution in areas now covered by the grid. But how are they going to run it still remains a mystery to me. So the problem with the power sector is it's not something we can actually discuss in just a moment right now. But I believe that there are rules governing the market. Commercial rules and technical rules contain, like we have in NESI, the grid codes. So if all these documents that are guiding the sector are not really adhered to, we're not going to have any change. So we have the market rules that shows how the commercial transactions in the power sector should be run. We have the technical code that prescribes how the technicals of the power system should be handled. But are we adhering to all these technical codes? Are we adhering to these commercial codes? So
what's stopping us from adhering to these technical codes?
Nigerian power sector is a peculiar one in the sense that
from your findings so far, what are you seeing? Does it have to do with corruption, like it's been pointed out? A lot of people would say, look, corruption is at the core of Nigeria's failure in the power sector.
Well, until you're able to prove corruption beyond reasonable doubt. So I'm not going to talk about corruption. But what I've seen in the power sector so far is the fact that every problem we're experiencing in the Nigerian power sector today is actually inherent in the central buyer model that we run, where MBET is the central buyer. So because this model does not give incentives for the DISCOs to be more efficient, because they buy power from the embeds and it's not as if they pay for it. So it is until they make collect and pay. But they'll be so inefficient in their collection. So they have that problem too, because it's a circle of so many problems. But they will tell you that government is owing us. Our MDA's debt is quite enormous. Huge. Apart from that, even the rich are stealing electricity in Nigeria. Electricity theft is a bigger problem.
The House of Reps actually just asked DISCOs, the distribution companies, to seek 500 billion naira financing.
That's not going to happen. It's just a wild goose chase. I think just a political statement. It's not going to happen. So how is the market going to recover that cost? Where are they going to get it? The DISCOs in Nigeria today are not bankable. They can't approach any banks to get money. So that's just the fact. So, and if they're coming with all these initiatives at the time where states have been granted autonomy, so which DISCOs are they referring to? The existing DISCOs or the DISCOs that are being created out of in states now? So there's a lot of confusion as regards that that statement from the and
we're still as confused as we were before we started this conversation. Lanre, Elatuyi, thank you very much for joining us on News Night, electricity market analyst. But I think Abia and Enugu, leading the charge as far as that's concerned. But we'll see how things pan out.